Hey guys, Scott Johnson with the Property Preservation Project here. Today I just want to kind of go over with you the second step of the probate process, and that's going to be contacting the creditors. So what you can expect, let me turn my sound off here. Of course I would make it to where, boom, do not disturb. Ha! Got it. There we go, that's better. Anyway, sorry about that. So when you're talking about your creditor, when you're talking about the creditors of the deceased, essentially the next step for the attorney in the process is going to be to let the creditors know of that person's passing. This is done in a couple of different ways. One way is, of course, running a notice in the paper. Of course, the obituary showing. That way the creditors are aware that that person has passed. The easiest way, though, if you guys are going through the probate process, is for you to collect as much information and documentation as possible and give it to the attorney. That's pretty much the same as we spoke about in inventory, but the sheets are going to be a little different. So going over a couple of things, let's look at credit card statements. Let's say there was a car loan or a mortgage. These are pretty obvious. Other ones could be a line of credit, any statements regarding that. And one of the ones that may not be as apparent would also be taxes. So making sure that the taxes are all paid when it comes to the estate, the property, if they own the property, and that sort of thing. So making sure to have all that documentation and give it to the attorney is going to make the process a lot easier for everybody. Now, another thing that you want to think about as well is if that person owned a business. Because if that person owned a business, let's say they owned an LLC, right, a limited liability company, and they were a disregarded entity is what they call it, which essentially means that they are an LLC in the eyes of the state, but when it comes to federal taxes, they are a single person, a sole proprietor. That's kind of how it works. We can go a little more in depth if that's something that you guys would like, just let me know. But in general, there may be some debts that are connected to that company that he or she was part owner in. So really digging deep to make sure that everything is accounted for is going to be extremely, extremely important. If there is a mortgage on the house, of course, one of the easiest ways to kind of handle that is to get a fair cash offer from us. Because if you're looking, if there's a certain amount left in the mortgage and the property, we just need to go ahead and liquidate it so it can be divided amongst the heirs. We can help make that process a lot easier. So, of course, talk to your attorney first, then reach out to us. We'd love to kind of sit down with you and talk about how we can help you and make the probate process a little bit easier for you, because it can be challenging. So your action steps, of course, if you are going through the process, go ahead and get as much documentation ready. Even if you are the person and you're watching right now and you're just kind of planning ahead, making sure you have a will and testament, like I said before in the other video, is going to be extremely important. Also, making sure that your documentation for all of your debts, all of your assets, bank statements, things like that, are in an easy-to-find place for your family. Could be that you file them away. It could be that you save them in a folder that on a desktop or a computer, and you just let them know, hey, listen, if something happens, this is where it is. Just making sure they have access to that information is going to make life a lot easier for them. And of course, you want to make sure I know that you want to make sure that they're pretty much taken care of after that. So, like I said, if you have any questions, guys, feel free to reach out. We are going to continue next week with information on the first year's income for deceased spouses and dependents. So be sure to tune in for that, because that's a really important, a really key fact that when I was learning about the process, I discovered that you do not want to overlook. So anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll talk to you soon.